Well, hello there. And Tony's in the background over there. He's doing, I think he's trying to fix himself a plate where he didn't eat. Hey, Dana, will you turn these lights on up here? I'm dark for some reason. I hope everybody's good tonight. Uh, I want to talk about a few things before we get in. Hey, I have light here. Before we get into what we're going to talk about, um, one thing is this guy right here. Let's see if I can get his picture to come up. This guy right here, he's missing out of Wisconsin. His dog there is a service dog, and they found his service dog tied to a pole outside I think it was an Amtrak station, and they say he would never ever leave his service dog. So I don't know if he was a vet or what the deal was, but his sister, I think it here, post this. This is in October 23rd. Let me turn your mic down a minute there, Anthony. Uh, is our October 23rd. My brother Nicholas Brooks has been missing going on 4 days from Pewaukee, Wisconsin. That's basically where we used to stay at. I wait till Daniel gets through with that water. I can't hear. Uh, his dog was found either tied up to a pole at a bus stop or Gator was running around Menards parking lot. And that's one of my favorite stores up there in Wisconsin. And actually, me and Dina used to go there quite a bit to get various things. But when we were in Wisconsin, Gator is, I guess, was his dog's name. Bottom line is, my brother would never leave his service dog. We have contacted the police department, sign of him, police share, so hopefully you'll find what's going on. They did find, they get an update. Her brother was seen on Amtrak train Sunday morning afternoon, and Gator was found Monday morning. So they're saying he would never, ever, ever leave his service dog. And you think, well, Amtrak runs between Milwaukee and from there it goes south all the way down to Florida. So if he's on Amtrak, they will find out if he used his real name and used his real identity. But it sounds like he has met foul play because of the situation with the dog of him being you know leaving him in the parking lot and uh, tied up or running around. But that's him right there. I'm thinking maybe he was a vet. It's not what they're saying, but he did have a service. Hold on, guys. I didn't mean that to come up here again. Um, but I think he would be. Hold on, let me get Anthony in here, Tony in here, just a minute. Uh, he
Look,
would be. Taking care of that dog. But at least the dog's safe when if they do find him safe, uh, at some point he would be able to get back with his dog. Um, how you doing, Tony?
oh, it's been a long day.
Yeah, I bet. Um, but other than that, there's always something, isn't it? Uh, but one thing I want to address tonight is about these. I think the right now probably one of the biggest threats in the United States going on with gangs. You know, we've had Bloods and Crips and
MS-13.
MS-13 and Gangster Disciples and a bunch of other big gangs, especially out in California and Houston and a few bigger cities. Miami's got a bad problem. Chicago has a bad problem. They've had a gang called Shy West up there for years. New York's got same problems, but they've not been ruthless like these gangs from Venezuela prison. The Venezuela prison gangs, and I'm going to show you a map, and it's about how they are everywhere in the United States. But they just TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, just came out with a thing where every major city, Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, has got this gang in it. And they go into a town and they basically out where the main drug hubs are, and they take them over. And the guy that killed uh, Lincoln Riley, I think it's Lincoln Riley, he was a member of that gang. Um, he didn't get the death penalty. I don't know. This is your picture probably up there. Mine won't. It right here. I don't know. I'd like to get that different. Let me see if I can get it.
Yeah,
Hold.
just
Yeah.
do that.
Uh, this is the one in the United States. The light colored, the light orange is confirmed. Is confirmed gang states, but they said there's over 16 that are confirmed, so that's going to be a little bit less, I think, than 16. Some of the little smaller states up north uh, are confirmed. The can't see under that right there what it says, but in the red is they don't know yet. They have not uh, found any true evidence in the hard red states, but in the yellow it's suspected. In Texas, I would say for sure. Tennessee, huh? Austin, Texas. I know Tennessee. They've said that it's in every major city. They're moving to Milwaukee, Illinois. You know, back in Lee, and see, Illinois got it's marijuana's legal. So I was looking to see Michigan. They haven't found any for sure. Michigan, Alabama, or Mississippi, but I would suspect Birmingham and Montgomery and Mobile would be prime areas. Huntsville, I don't know. Huntsville's got a pretty stout police department with uh, all the facilities. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of Hispanic population there because they don't have a lot of Hispanic uh, facilities. But you look at Boaz and Albertville, you got huge chicken plants where they normally work, huge Spanish population. In fact, somebody told me the other day there's more Hispanics in Albertville than there are any other race. So you imagine that if they came in and they took over that type of drug activity and
Crossville,
everything, yeah,
Crossville, Collinsville, of course,
uh,
Albertville, Douglas,
Patrick, yeah,
all that area is,
yeah, it's all,
predominantly Hispanic
yeah.
population.
Now,
There are
Canada,
a lot of good people. There are a lot. Let's stress this. There are actually a lot of good Hispanic people in that area, and they do not like or put up or condone some of the illegal activities that this gang is known for. By no means, much less drug activities. However, there are always bad apples in every group. It doesn't matter if black, white, purple, pink, whatever. Um, so just to clarify that. But now, yes, that area has actually been more of an MS-13. We actually, I personally investigated some cases that did involve some MS-13 gang activity in that area, and it was trying to be quashed. Of course, that was when President Trump was still in office, so we had a lot of great activity between the Border Patrol and other um, HIDTA agencies and things like that to try to curtail some drug activity that was going on. But
yeah,
that is this thing that you brought up about this other Venezuelan gang is a problem. Now, the Salvatrucha MS-13, they are actually guerrilla warfare trained through Guatemala. And so there's a difference between the Latin Kings and other Hispanic gangs versus MS-13, Salvatrucha gangs. So it's not just saying a blanket quote Hispanic. It is different countries that host different gang activities. We also have gang activities involving Russian mafia in the United States. We obviously have terroristic activities with uh, Islamic jihadist terrorists, and then you've got black, white, Middle Eastern. You couldn't even tell that they are of of a foreign culture just by looking at them. It is more about the dynamics of their plans of aggression to do various things within the United States. We do have a pretty good anti-terrorist team of all over the United States of things that go on that um, the people in the United States don't even know half the things that are obviously stopped from happening. But this is obviously still a group of people that are not afraid to do whatever they want to do with the activities that what Tommy was talking about.
yeah. Well, one thing is that I say out of all the gangs, is Venezuela prison gangs are are very violent towards law enforcement. They have no fear of going to jail because they run the prisons down in Venezuela. Uh, so they would try to form up and that's one thing about the guy that killed Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley is he's not worried about going to jail. He'll be with his boys. He'll be with his homeboys. That's why I hope they sentence him to uh, maximum, the maximum security. Um, well, I can't think of what they call those places now. The maximum places, like in Colorado. No, it's not. They call it something. Uh, what do they call it, Tony? They call it where they put the Unabomber and all those guys. Um, they're out like one
You
hour
know
a
what you're
day.
talking about, but now the Unabomber was a federal
Yeah, but
penitentiary.
they've actually put uh, put him in the he was in, even though he was federal, he was held in a the maximum place. I can't think of the name of it. There's so many others. Um, just like they hold a lot of federal prisoners in the county jail until something opens up. But I
Mhm.
can't think of the name of the the thing. But they could put him in somewhere away from these guys that uh, because yourself the prison gang the gangs in prison are black gangs, white gangs. They don't mix. They're Hispanic gangs, and when he goes in there, he's just gonna go in with the Hispanics and are in the Venezuelan gangs that are in there now, and he's
Mhm.
going to have he's not going to have it hard. I mean, sure he'll be in jail for the rest of his life, but he doesn't need that. He doesn't need to be there. He needs to be where in a place where they don't have a chance to socialize and get their drugs and do all that stuff. What?
They need to be in solitary confinement.
Well, if they were in these uh, jails like that, and I can't remember the name of it. It's not like C Max or something Max. They're in these
I'm not.
maximum.
Well, they sometimes call them super maxes.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of.
Okay.
Supermax. Yeah, Supermax, where they go in and they don't have a chance to socialize or anything because he's not really gonna. Even though he'll be in jail for the rest of his life, there in he will have just opportunity to do everything he wants to do in there. He'll be able to
Well,
get drugs, be able to do
the
everything.
super, the super maxes are set up to where, like an A block, a B block, a C wing, or D wing, they're like a city in the prison system.
But they don't socialize. They're in the
That's right.
cell
They stay.
20
It's kind of
hours
like
a
they
day.
know their boundaries. They do know their boundaries in there.
But anyway, it's gonna be Georgia. He's gonna be held in Georgia, so maximum security, I'm sure. But
Mhm.
he still will be able to get out, and he will be with his own people inside that gang. Now, sure, they'll some of the other Hispanic gangs will take him in because they haven't gotten enough of those Venezuelans down. But I'm sure have no problem in inseminating with these guys down there. But you imagine 16 states confirmed. I heard, and that means if 16 states are confirmed, there's probably another 16 they're moving them in, but they haven't been discovered yet. But I
Well,
know they're random acts of violence, violence towards law enforcement. They're not afraid to hit, kick, kill law enforcement. They're not worried about going to jail. They were in jail. So I'm hoping that when Trump gets in office, I'm hoping that when he starts to move people out of these gangs out of the United States, that uh, that he'll move in or get these are going to be the first people to go is the criminal aliens. And here's the thing I don't see: why are these democratic cities, these sanctuary cities, bucking this? Now if they want to buck the fact they don't want families taken out and people that have been here for 5 and 10, 15 years, that's another story. But criminals, hardcore criminals, 54% of the voters said, 54% said they wanted these immigration to be the number one thing right now. 54%. So 54% said it. Why aren't they going to I mean, why aren't these like San Francisco and some of the large California places, Chicago, New York, they're going to fight extradition of anybody, no matter if they're
LA,
criminal or not.
LA said they were going to do it today.
Yeah, I mean that's correct. If I was him, this was what I would do. And I know we shouldn't talk about politics on this channel, but what I would do would be I would hold federal funding to whatever city says they're not going to obey the law or put the mayor in jail. That's another thing.
He's already said he's withholding.
Well, he could put the mayor in jail. If the mayor says no, because he's violating federal law. We have 4 people watching. 4 people. I don't know where our audience is.
You gotta get back on the.
I put a thing out there where showing that we would be on tonight, and but last I think it was last week when we just came up on the channel. We got three now. We're losing them fast. That we had like I don't know 60 or 70 at one time, but um, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what people want to hear anymore. I know if we start talking about if Barry or some of these other people, the some of those cases that everybody wanted to talk about, we'd have a lot more people there. But I don't know. I bet I don't know. It's very disheartening to see up there. I can see I got three people watching. I don't know if has anybody been talking to because I can't see the
So they told me hi.
chat.
They told
Chat.
me hi.
Okay.
Chia Bug and
Yeah.
Lori.
Okay. I guess there are hardcore supporters, but I don't know why. Or maybe this is a bad night. I know NFL football's on tonight. Maybe that's it. Um, but yeah, I don't. I'm really debating this channel. I'm really debating my other channel. I'm having some very regrets on. I regret slowing down this channel, but I couldn't possibly do that when we were on a Canadian trip. I just couldn't do it.
You didn't have a signal.
Huh?
You didn't
I didn't
have a
have.
signal.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of things too. We were out. I mean, it didn't get dark on that trip until 11 o'clock at night, so we were out doing stuff. But um, we got five now, so I don't know. Maybe some of your relatives came on. I don't know. uh, but getting back to this, we are hoping that when they do start getting people out of the country, that these are the first to go. They are some missing people that I tried to get some. I tried a couple of people out of Milwaukee. I was going to, since I had that one guy on here, and they've already been found. So that's a good thing,
Really good.
a real good thing. And like I said, I'm still trying to make this work with our other channels and or get it to where it will come up. Uh, but like I said, we want to start really featuring the Indian population, and I'm not talking about Indian the country, but Indian indigenous is the way they like to be called, indigenous population.
Did you
And
see where? Did you see where the state of Alabama executed the convicted murderer, which his name was Kerry Grayson?
no, I saw.
I didn't think it was supposed to be till 10.
I didn't. Yeah, I thought they were going to do it later tonight.
His time of death was 6:33 p.m.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do it later on. Is he the one that killed the hitchhiker?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
somewhere. I mean, they kept him on death row for 30 years, over
96.
since '96. That's
Yeah.
that's one. And I'm gonna
She
tell
was
you that.
picked up. Now, if you just to remember or just to reflect your memory on what happened, she was dropped off by a friend at I-59 near Chattanooga, Tennessee. She was planning to hitchhike to Louisiana. She got picked up at the Trussville exit in Jefferson County by four teenagers, one of which was the Kerry Grayson, and they had been drinking alcohol and using drugs. They offered to take the lady, the deceased, to Louisiana, but instead they took her to a wooded area under the pretense of picking up another vehicle. When they arrived in that wooded area, they exited the car and they began drinking. And Grayson and others threw bottles at the lady and then began, of course, she began to run from them. They tackled her to the ground. Excuse me. And anyway, they began kicking her repeatedly. She was still alive, and one of them stood on her throat. And of course, that was supported by Grayson himself until she gurgled blood and died. Grayson and his accomplices were then put the lady's body in the back of the pickup truck and took her and her luggage to Bald Rock Mountain. And after removing her clothing and a ring, they abused her body and threw her off a cliff. Afterwards, they drove to a car wash in Pell City and washed out of the blood out of the vehicle. And then they rummaged through her luggage and belongings. And that's, of course, the next morning, the girlfriend found all of them asleep with mud and blood on them. And then, of course, the rest was history from there. But they did, in fact, have, excuse me, they did, in fact, find her to have a fractured skull. Every bone in her face was fractured at least once. She had 180 post-mortem stab wounds. She had 2 large incisions in her chest where her left lung had been removed and all of her fingers and thumbs had been cut off. This was a very heinous crime.
Well, did the others get the death penalty or just him?
From what I'm seeing here, let me look back here.
And they said him because it was too cruel.
They needed to execute her. Wait 30 years. I mean,
it doesn't say. I'm assuming that surely they would arrested all of them and they would have all been, but apparently
I wonder if the others were juveniles and they didn't try them as adults.
I don't know, but I found it very funny that, I hate to say anything's funny about this, but one of the juveniles' names that was with him, his name was Kenny Loggins. So obviously not the singer Kenny Loggins.
No, how many total?
4 of them. There was Carrie Grayson, Kenny Loggins, Trace Duncan, and Luis Mangione. I can't pronounce the last name. Mangione.
Look up that. Ask the question of Google, because I can't do it with this running. Ask the question of Google. Did they? Did the other people involved in that murder? What were their sentences? Because I bet you they're juvenile and they just gave him life without, or if they tried him as an adult, I don't know how they would do that.
All right, I'm looking to see about the other people.
Somebody hit.
No, there you go. Oh, Melinda's on here.
Melinda's on here?
Yeah.
Hey, Melinda, how are you? Long time no see. Well, I don't see you, but long time no hear from you. We were just talking about a guy that they executed in Alabama tonight, and the crime he did. That they waited almost 30 years to execute him, and
Gail's here.
pretty heinous crime. Hello, Gail. We're starting to get a few people in here, but I don't know. Maybe it's a ball game. Maui.
Right, RYU. I forget how to say that.
I don't know why I can't see the chat.
Gail said she hadn't been able to get through.
All right. According to this, what I found, uh, two of the boys, Loggins and Duncan, were 17 at the time of the crime, and then the
Well, they should have
Lewis
gotten.
Louis Mangalon, I can't pronounce his last name again. He was 16 at the time of the murder. He was given a life sentence, while the remaining three members of the group were sentenced to death for murder. However, two of them, being the 17 at the time of the offense, their death sentences were commuted to life in prison. So they're basically serving life sentences.
Unless they, if it's, is it life without parole or just life?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Life or life without parole?
I'm looking, it says only the words life sentence.
Well, you could probably, if we really want to know later on, we can go to the Alabama Correctional Inmate page, and
Yeah.
you'd be able to find out if they're still there or not. I doubt very seriously they are. Uh, that is just a bad, bad, bad crime to do all that. Man, can't imagine.
Sergeant Melinda wants to know what's the guy's name.
The guy they executed was who? What was his name tonight? Tony.
Grayson was the gentleman that was
What was
got the
his
death
first name?
penalty. Dale,
Dale.
Carrie Dale Grayson.
Yeah, he was sentenced in. He was sentenced to death in '96, right?
Yeah. This is what this says about the appeals of the juveniles. I'll read it to you. Eventually, in 2012, Alabama revised its life imprisonment laws for juveniles through a landmark ruling under Miller versus Alabama, making it unconstitutional for juveniles to serve a mandatory life sentence without parole, and the new laws allow judges to decide whether or not to grant them serving life sentences of parole, including the past court cases prior to 2012. Many of many of the juveniles serving life without parole, including Kenny Loggins, Trace Duncan, and that Luis, can't pronounce the last name, applied for their life terms to carry the possibility of release on parole rather. After a series of resentence hearing, both the Luis Lewis and the Duncan boy were each granted the chance for parole after a minimum of 35 years, and their earliest parole hearing would be 2029. However, Loggins, whose hearing took place in 18, was denied the chance of parole, and hence his sentence of life without parole was still maintained by the courts. So they are still in jail serving life without parole.
Wow, it was four, right? Up four of them.
Total of four, and then one of the four, the Grayson was executed today, or actually a couple of hours ago.
Wow, it's amazing too that they would do all that, but they didn't rape her unless it was post mortem, right?
Uh I'm looking. I'm looking. If you'll give me just a second, I'll try to see if there's any more
You
details
know,
in reference to that.
she. I don't know, Melinda. I don't know if you heard um, what they said there, that she was stabbed like 150 times, post
180.
180 times post mortem. I just can't. That's just crazy. I that's crazy. Um, it's going to shock a bunch of people on death row, especially the ones that've been there a real long time. That maybe they're starting to get through the courts and get all of them out of there. But apart from that, we were talking about the court system in Colorado right now, and the Barry Morphew case. Um, I have tried to look up everything I can, and I have yet to find anything saying that they're moving forward with that case. Um, I don't. I know that they got a new DA because the other DA got disbarred, and that
Hey,
makes me think there was some really, really bad stuff going on. Go ahead.
okay. She was sexually abused, according to the investigation, and this was done before they threw her off down a cliff.
How
The
old was she? Did they say how old she was?
hold on just a second. She was born in '56, and
Okay, that would be.
died on the February the 27th. She was 37.
Hmm.
This right here is something that seems to be really interesting, at least to me, that this is what they had to do. First of all, on February the 26th, of course, she was murdered on the 22nd. 4 days after, though, she was murdered, whatever remained of her body was discovered by 3 rock climbers. An autopsy revealed that the cause of death was blunt force trauma to her head and asphyxiation, so she was choked, was a possible contributing factor. Now, this is what's really crazy, y'all. Her face was so badly shattered that she was recognized from a previous x ray of her spine. That's how they identified her body. Her fingers, of course, as I told you earlier, had been cut off, but investigators revealed that the 4 teenagers were identified as suspects after one of them displayed a severed finger to a friend and bragged about the murder, and that's what broke the
They
case.
cannot shut up. That's the thing. They cannot. They've got to tell somebody because they feel remorse or they're bragging about it. That's amazing. We was talking about Melinda. You asked about you wondering about Barry Murphy case. I really went back and looked at any possible. I guess they did throw out the lawsuit that he filed for $15 million against the DA in the county, and they said the court record said that the judge said that because there was probable cause to believe that Barry Morphew they that he was involved in it. There was circumstantial probable cause that he had no standing to sue. So they threw out the case. Now the DA that was in office when they charged him got disbarred. Now I don't know all the reasons why she got disbarred, but when there was one officer, one agent there that um, that was doing some things maybe he shouldn't have done, and he got caught up in it, and that was a red herring for the case. But we were talking about last week about the DNA, the partial DNA that were found. Um, there was a lawyer on YouTube that has a channel, and I was listening to the lawyer. I listened to his whole video. He said that DNA was found on the bike, on her car glove compartment, and on her clothes. But I can't remember who was telling me that that was not the case. Somebody here was telling me that the only place the DNA was found, the partial DNA of a criminal from somewhere was in her car. But we also said this partial DNA might have belonged to accomplice. That because I think when we know for a fact that Barry, when he was found in his, I think in his washer dryer, whatever, there was a needle found that was on a tranquilizer dart needle. It was the actual housing. Well, as we know from the toxicology, since they found Suzanne's remains, the autopsy was done, and inside the bone marrow was three chemicals, the same three chemicals used in one of these animal darts. So we have enough, I believe, and the fact that he was seen throwing away this stuff at different dumpsters, just a lot of things that uh, circumstantial evidence. A lot of people are prosecuted on circumstantial evidence, a whole lot. Uh, I think what will really do him in, though, will be if he ever talked to anybody. You know, if he ever talked to anybody. Um, yeah, it was the Maui. You're correct. It was the sheath and not the actual needle, which, but it was the same type of sheath for the that these needles uh, basically are stored in. So they kind of put two and two together. And all we heard about back then, or all we heard about was, oh, wait till the body's found. Wait till they do the autopsy. But I don't. The fact that this DNA from an unknown person was found in her car, and doesn't only thing that does, it create a little bit of doubt, but it could say, hey, very well could be an accomplice. And I know being a partial DNA, I'm sure that Turnabon, we talked about that. Turnabon is the place that they'll take a partial DNA and DNA, and they'll find if he's black, white, Asian, or whatever. Didn't his close buddy pass away? I don't know. Does anybody know that? If Barry's close friend passed away, was it the soldier, his special forces buddy? I don't know.
Did
I
you
know that
know about his $15 million lawsuit?
they dropped that. They
Yeah.
said that he dropped it. But I think I think he should, eh, you know, he should be worried still because someday, murder doesn't have any there's no statute of limitations on murder. But, someday somebody's going to come up and develop some evidence somewhere that they feel like they have enough. I know why they're waiting. They're waiting to because they're afraid that if they goes to trial and he's found not guilty, that'll be it. Right outside the courthouse, he could come out there and say, found me not guilty, and he could say, I did it, nothing you can do about it. If he very well could. But I think that, you know, maybe he told somebody, maybe something else is going to turn up. You would think, though, that what we know, just what we know, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. They're not going, they're not going to tell anything. Yeah, he shouldn't be walking around free. Because the DA messed up. Yep, but I don't think. I think if you start over, start from scratch. Even I think that they have enough circumstantial evidence.
Mm.
And the idea of it, when his phone was seen, they had his phone running around the house, and he said he was chasing chipmunks. Well, we all know he's probably chasing Suzanne, and he probably shot her with a dart. And and something else I read, and I don't know, maybe if y'all can tell me. I read where they found a bullet inside the skeleton. Now, she did not die from any bullet wound, but he could have shot her, and it did not hit a bone. It didn't hit, because after this time there was just bones. They didn't find anything else.
Hey, I got a question to ask you.
Sure.
Did you know about Barry pleading guilty to a forgery for filling out a ballot?
Yeah, her ballot.
Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, he pled guilty to that, and you know, I don't know what was ever done on that. If they probably just slapped him on the wrist.
He
Uh,
got 32. He got 32 hours community service and a 1 year deferred sentence, and he was ordered to pay $1,000 in fines and court costs.
Maybe, and going back to this bullet though, if somebody could look that, try to find that for me, because this lawyer was the one I was uh, listening to, and I'm gonna go find his name and see if we can. I listen to that again because, and I don't know why he would say all this stuff, especially about a bullet, if there wasn't one found. But here's going back to the bullet. I don't know what caliber. That was never discussed by him. But they found I think a 22 bullet on the floor. Wasn't in the bedroom. They found a 22 bullet. So I'm wondering, it wasn't the actual bullet. It was the whole thing, the cartridge or whatever. But I don't know. Uh, got my 0 calorie, 0 carb drink here.
I'm not seeing anything about what you're asking. I'm scanning through right quick.
Uh, no, at the where the body was found, any other evidence or
That's what I'm
anything?
I'm not seeing anything about the bullet that
I'll
you're.
try to find that guy's name. I think it's what I was looking at the. Normally, when I'm trying to save something, I'll take a picture of it. Like if I see a website or something I think is interesting, I'll take a picture of it and then go back and look at it. Um, so I might have, a bunch of, because I can't remember what it when it was.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah. I'm
did
not
see.
finding anything.
I'll go back and look. There's also another thing I want to bring up, and I meant to try to get it in here. There's a FBI searches an ex-officer's home who is a person of interest in a woman's disappearance, and I thought that was weird. He met her. I think he met her at a club or something. Let's see. I'm trying to find out exactly where that's at. It's 2 years ago too. Um, but hmm,
All right,
that,
there's a post. Daily Mail gave the exclusive that Suzanne's Morphew's autopsy revealed a bullet was discovered with skeletal remains along with fragments of her hoodie seen in unearthed photo of her cooking with Barry's mom.
so did they say what type of bullet?
Sergeant Melinda is the one who posted that.
Did they say what type of bullet, Melinda? I mean, if what caliber? I mean, that would be something that I'd be interested in.
I emailed it to you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Let me see here. This girl too, I wanted to bring up, and I meant to download it for whatever reason I couldn't do it. Is 31-year-old, 5'10", 140 pounds. Last seen getting off a flight at LAX from Maui, um, New York. She was having some. She texted her mother, if you can see that. She texted her mother and said that she had gotten cheated out of her money from somebody, and that's all they heard. Haven't heard from her since. You look at the name. I can't pronounce that. It's probably showing backwards. It's probably showing backwards. I don't know, but I can't. I was sitting there going back through this thing to see if I could get that lawyer's name. No, I can't right now. I'll look for it. I'll look for it. Can you go over and look at our email, Dana, under the missing, and see it
What?
backwards? Yeah, I'm sorry. Melinda emailed that the Daily Mail thing on that. I was trying to find out if they said the caliber of the bullet that was found, and by them finding the bullet, he may have shot her, and and I guess she could have bled out from a gunshot wound, even if it didn't hit any, any part of her body, um, any bones. And I know the autopsy they ruled homicide. Well, that's easy to say, even if they didn't find anything, because she was buried in a shallow grave. Um, um, but that it, the fact it is very sad. I think that uh, that he is walking around free, and I know he is wondering, looking over his shoulder, that they're going to. Um, okay,
Got it.
I got it. They're wait just a minute. Let me look what Melinda sent me real
She
quick.
said the autopsy report is at the bottom of the.
Okay. Well, you sent it to me, but okay. Um, but the fact that I guess you'd have to wonder by looking over your shoulder if you were, going to be arrested for murder at any time. And I'm sure he's checking. He may have somebody in the department that's giving him information too. You know, do you have
We
something to
need
say?
to we need to look at this case that I just saw. That's very interesting. You'll need to try to Google her name, but I could try to post this to you. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get a copy paste and send you this link. It's an interesting case. Let's see here. All right, I just sent you that link.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce the lady's name, but she's missing from Maui, Hawaii.
that's the one I just put up there.
I know that's what I'm saying, but that
Okay,
link that I just sent you,
let me see if
uh,
I can pull this up here.
they posted 45 minutes ago that the family had did a rally, and there's some backstory now that's coming to surface of this unidentified man that was seen in this video footage of her, but she was at a private event on November the 10th with LeBron James at the Grove. And if it's the Grove that I'm familiar with, of
Yeah, me
things that
too. I don't
yeah,
think it's that. I don't think it's that grove because you got to have uh, you got to
well, I
have
mean,
a
again, it looked pretty weird. I thought I was like, my goodness. But it says here that in this article that I was reading that I found interesting, she mentioned feeling scared and that someone might be trying to steal her money and identity.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
she
That's
had some kind of other strange cryptic message, things about a matrix, and it was so unlike her. And then all of a sudden, no more communication.
yeah. I can't pull it up now. Right now, I got too much stuff apparently going on here.
Yeah,
Um, we'll get
definitely,
that back up.
definitely a very unique, odd, weird case. Um, Something that would definitely there's obviously nefariousness in the what's going on with that for sure.
Yeah, that's just I understand exactly where you're coming from. You know, we can sit back here and armchair this thing and say we have enough, but the problem I saw with this case, uh, I believe it was with the Morphew case actually, that it was brought up too soon. They didn't have well, they had a problem with one of the agents on the case. I don't know exactly. I wanted to go back and read the trial transcript, the prelim transcript. They had a problem with one of the agents. That's all I know. I don't know if he was involved, something to do with DA's office or what. But it was strong enough that they disbarred the DA, which takes a lot to do that. I don't know if you know that to disbar somebody takes a lot. They got to be doing something illegal, or they've got to totally mess up a case so bad by evidence, lose evidence, lose stuff. I mean, listen, just by losing evidence will not do it. And I'm going to tell you why I know that. Because we had a DA's office several years back, been probably 15 years back, that lost all of our files all the time. I would send the file up, and I talked about it last week. I would send the file up to a courier from a police department. None of the other uh, couriers had any problems, and they would lose the file. So we started hand delivering the files. We'd take it to the DA's office, hand it to the DA, the assistant district attorney, or his secretary. We'd make them sign for it right there, saying, with a sheet of paper saying, I turned over all these files contain. And we'd have a list of all the things it contained. They'd sign for it. They'd lose it. They would lose it. Now, the current DA is not like that. He got his act together, but just by, you know, I don't know what is going on with why they're not prosecuting him. I really don't. Um, you know, yeah, and Melinda, I heard you talking about Echo. Uh, they they said you uh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they found Echo either. Echo Lloyd, her remains. You know, everybody. I know a lot of people think, well, it should be easy to find people, but I'm gonna tell you something. If people want to get rid of a body, it's not that hard for people to do it. We've had several cases down around the middle of Alabama that they were accused the guy of throwing the body in a well. Now there's hundreds, maybe even thousands of old wells all over this country. So if somebody has a well on their property, they throw somebody in it, and then they fill the well up with concrete, you may never know you be able to. And that was what I heard at one time. One of them, they were looking and they thought that the guy had filled it up with concrete. But I know this is a case out of Talladega, Alabama, that they were been looking for somebody down there. I know for years they actually sealed off the farm and they had tractors and everything out there. Never did find them.
Yeah, you
And
remember you were talking. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I got to throw this in. You were talking about DAs. The one case where that Durham County District Attorney, that Mike Nefam, or I've forgotten his name, he was obviously disbarred.
yeah, and they was talking about we have. I don't know if where y'all live, y'all have rock quarries, but down in the south there are tons and tons of rock quarries, and when what happens to them, they'll get out there and dig them, and they'll hit a spring, and the water will come in so fast that they can't get the tractors and the trucks and everything out of there, so they just leave them. And the water turns out to be fairly clear down below. It gets a real bad limestone sediment. But there's a lot of people go out and they scuba dive in these places, and they because it gets fairly clear once you get way down there,
There's
and
a couple over there around Anniston.
they're all over the place. There's in Anderson. There's some up north. In fact, there's one up near where we go, where our daughter lives. That they've turned it into a big swimming place. Part of it's for swimming. Part of it's a water dog park, and other part they have scuba diving in. But what I'm getting to is a lot of these things they found stolen motorcycles, stolen cars, missing people that have driven their cars straight off these things. No telling how many bodies have been thrown in because some of them are like 200 feet deep. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Ozarks. I mean, if somebody wants to get rid of something, they could do that. They could burn their body up and then throw it in one of these places. And you've seen anybody seen Breaking Bad? There's tons of that guy's got rid of bodies, and I don't know if that's true on how he did it, but in Breaking Bad, he used some type of acid. Put them in plastic barrels that acid won't eat through, but they'll eat through metal.
You
And
remember about Little River Canyon?
yeah,
That's
there-
the most one of the most notorious places in Alabama where they've found stolen vehicles.
yeah. So it's finding. I think finding a place. One thing I know they searched hundreds of these old abandoned mines up there near uh, Salatus when they thought they had all kinds of psychics and everything saying that and she was killed and thrown down one of these old mines. Well,
Yeah.
it was fairly easy for them to do. They just cavers went down there and checked them all out. They found nothing. But she, the thing is, she was that's fine. She was found. Her remains were found 45 minutes away from Salida. So, you're not gonna. They're not going to. It's not going to be real bad. Listen, we've been on here an hour and 5 minutes. Tony's got to go. His daughter is in Huntsville and they're doing some type of competition up here. Is that right, Tony?
State competition for championship.
Yeah, state championship. Is it football?
Swimming.
Swimming. Okay.
Football.
Well, I knew their football team is in Orange Beach.
He's not big enough to play no football.
No, but doesn't Orange Beach's doesn't the football team down in that area in aren't they in the championships?
Yeah, but they're boys.
No, I'm just saying. That's what I don't know. I thought she may be cheerleading, Dina.
You're talking about your alma mater. Gulf Shores has got.
No, I never went to Go Shores. I never went there.
He's too old.
I went
Anthony.
to Butler High in Huntsville, which is not even a school right now. It's a church. But anyway,
obviously Gulf Shores were the state champs last year, not this year.
Okay. Well, I knew they were.
I know that I saw Orange Beach's cheerleaders won the state championship, and then of course Orange Beach's softball girls have won 3 times in a row now the softball state champs. So a lot of good things for the kids in the area.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got to jump off. I hope everybody has a blessed rest of your week, and of course, a happy Thanksgiving. And
For sure.
Be blessed.
Be blessed. And we do want to push our other channel over there. If you're not a subscriber to our 1 million mile road trip, how about just scan this QR code and subscribe to our other channel. We are still trying to get monetized.
Hey, and remember,
So
gather with your family and celebrate this wonderful Thanksgiving.
yeah, gather with your family and celebrate this wonderful Thanksgiving.
No matter
But
who they
anyway,
voted for.
no matter who they voted for. All right. Well, thank y'all for coming, and we hope to see you next Thursday at 8 o'clock Central Time, and hopefully we can get back to what I want to cover more of the indigenous people and their movement currently. Huge movement they're doing to try to get more people aware of how many missing people they have, and let's do something about it. Love you guys. Hope to see you then. Y'all have a good night. Great seeing y'all too. Great, awesome seeing y'all. Happy Thanksgiving.